Astro Monday, and we're coming to you all the way from Dublin, Ireland. And we are at the Loft Crew Estates. This is a medieval castle. Unbelievable. I feel like I'm right literally in the medieval times here. We've got a fireplace in the center of the courtyard burning. We've got fires all over the place here to keep us warm, right down there. Oh, right down there. I mean, this place is amazing. Welcome, welcome. Come on in. And how are you feeling today? Put down in the comments exactly how you're feeling. This is like, I gotta tell you, what a journey. I have so much to share with you guys. I don't even know where to start at this point. So put down in the comments down there how you're feeling. And also what I'd like you to do is put down your sun, your moon, and your rising. We want to see who's in here if you know it. Or if you don't know it, just your birthday. Put it down there, and also send this out to a few friends. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you in Sweden as well. It's going to be a great one. Let's see here. Looking for Chris Witecki.
It's going to be a minute. He had a lawnmower situation.
Okay. He's coming up in a bit. Taurus, Aquarius, Cancer. Yes. 10/16. So October 16th. And we've got 11:04. So April 11th, is that? Or is that 4th of 4th of November? Hi, 12/0/1995. 12/10 maybe? 20 degrees. Aries, got it. Feeling better. Feeling anxious, 11/22. Yeah, actually, if you're 11/22, you're going to feel anxious. You're probably, that means you're at 0 degrees Sag, most likely. You should run your chart. And if you are, you're feeling that energy right now because you're coming up to your polar opposite, which is in a couple of days. You're coming up to your polar opposite, which would be, today is a 25, right?
He's up there.
Or is it 26? Let's see. Let's see what Chris says. Remember what he was saying last week. This is going to be a really powerful week. So here comes Chris Witecki. Feeling sad. July 3rd, feeling a bit anxious too. Gemini, 05/24, all good. 2-degree Gemini. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh my God, dude. Sorry for the delay. I sat down ready to go live and suddenly lawnmowers were like, "Wah!" The crew shut, the crew lamb, like, mother, pick up the camera, like the house is, my mom's here, like there's like no place to shoot. Everyone's on conference calls and it's like, fuck. By the time I found a new place, they were gone. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
that was happening to me too. Right before the live, I was we just got here and there's some health influencers that were here, like big ones, at the estate here, and I was talking to them, and somebody's going through a big emotional release, and you can't leave right in the middle of that. I can't like.
right. Sorry, gotta be on camera. Good luck.
gotta be
Gotta go be on a selfie on Instagram. Hello.
Here, sweetie.
Hi. I wish I was there too. Well, let's set the intention. We just launched Series Story 3.0 15 minutes ago.
Congratulations.
We are,
That's why today I couldn't get in, right?
I guess so. I mean, we're 27 degree, we're step 27 Gemini, we're a Libra rising, we have a Scorpio 6-degree moon.
There we go.
So Libra rising and a Scorpio 6-degree moon. That feels like it too.
Yeah, because there's like that Libra rising is we can relate with everybody. So what I do is your birth chart is your birth chart. So we have our birth chart at Series Joy. But then every time we have a new incarnation, I run a progress chart to see how this version is going to differentiate from the original creation, right? And then I also track the transits. And the cool thing is here's a little trick for those of you who are planning companies. If you launch your company, well, right now, if you launch your company right now, at a certain time, if you launch it around between 12 and if you launch it between 10 and 12, your company will be very successful. We launched at 2 Eastern, which means we're authority of knowledge, which is totally true.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
It's
I've unconsciously, we unconsciously have done this, it's funny how we have just put it up. Like for years, I would talk to you about when's the right time, and I've been working with you long enough to know that I'm actually in the right time. But it's super interesting to know. It's like when you did your event in Austin and we did ours. There couldn't have been a better day for our event. That
Or
the day
nor
you did your
ours.
event was not the right day for ours. It was the right day for ours.
Same. And by the way, we've been in labor since Saturday. We
Yeah.
we tried going live Saturday, ran into trouble, ran into trouble, ran into trouble, and I was just like, and everyone was like, well, let's just go live with it not working completely. I'm like, no, 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 we're not doing that. Like, we're not having a deformed baby. Like, but the point is that we planned to have the baby at a certain time, but then through all sorts of problems and weird little glitches, it wasn't born until 15 minutes ago. I mean, we've been up for about 72 hours
Yeah, well that I mean that makes perfect sense for
to
exactly
get
where
the
you're
birth
at.
chart. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm
So
just sharing this with with the viewers because it's like, you know, yes, you plan with the astrology, but it's plan to change your plans. It's always fascinating how it ends up changing.
yeah, thank you for that correction.
Yes, I know. I'm learning
Fascinating.
proper English. I'm sorry.
So you know you know what was so my progress chart I think I'm 20 I think I'm 25-degree Aquarius in my
Oh,
progress chart.
that's awesome because I'm a seven Cancer. That means you and I are in the same net step. No
Yeah,
wonder we dance so well together.
that's exactly it.
We're always in the same net step here and are progressed.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's to do with age differential and birthday. I mean, the potential of that. I'm in the same net step with a past life sister that works for me too, and we're just
And
always in
what's
step.
your, I forget how old you
I'm 51.
are. Okay, you're 51, so you're in your Libra year, and I'm in my Taurus year. I'm 55. And that's
Yes,
four between us, which is also Aquarius. Ba-ba-ba. And I'm a
yes,
25 Aquarius right now.
yes. You and I have an innovative relationship based on innovation. That
Yeah,
is the basis of our relationship.
yeah.
We both want
That
to
is
innovate.
super, super cool.
Yeah, the next
So
step is very interesting. It tells you the relationship between the two steps. That's coming out of my book this fall.
so I mean, what a crazy day.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
I got to. I'm going to release a video. I got to work. So I've been going as I've been going on this tour and working since I left Los Angeles. I've been working on all of my relationships and the damage I've done in this world, literally.
Yeah. Some
So I'm in check.
accidentally.
I got to
It's collateral damage. It's
yeah
not
collateral damage. I wasn't doing it
mean to.
intentionally, but
Right. Yeah.
yeah, but unintentionally, I think I think the majority of people on this live could say that unintentionally we've created damage in this world. We've hurt people, we've done things, we should have gone left when we went right, all those different things. But
Hmm.
they led us to where we are today. And
Correct.
where I am today is in a really good place. And so I've been just letting it unfold, but you know, I was able to go back and look at some of my primary relationships. Like in Los Angeles, I got to meet with Anela and reconcile, and that
Mm.
was she was my last primary relationship
Hmm.
before this version of Human Garage. And then I back in Czech, I got to spend time with Petra and work with her, and I have a transformative video. It was emotional beyond crazy, like
Mm.
trauma releasing, and on both of us.
Hmm.
And then I go in August to my daughter's wedding, and I get to reconcile with the mother of my children, and it's in the exact same order that I'm going backwards in
Yes.
the same order.
Yes. Yes. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. That you're the only person I know in my life that has seen that too. Um.
Yeah. So
I,
why? So why? So from a trauma perspective, the way I explain that is that I get a trauma, I start to wind down in my life. I get another one, I wind down and I
oh,
wind down,
interesting.
and I'm just winding back up. So
Mm.
that's what I notice happens in the bodies. I notice that injuries, when you remove the trauma from the body, the injuries get recognized and reconciled on a reverse order.
Yeah. What I find it is that trauma and wounds are consequential. So the first trauma led to the second trauma, which led to the third trauma. The knee bone's connected to the leg bone, that sort of thing. And so I feel like when you are healing, you have to basically go back into you're basically going back to the history of the wound because it's an
Yeah.
echo.
Yes. Exactly. And I mean, I've even had physical stuff come out of my body. I've had like I had scars, like scratches in my back once come out in 2018. I had scratches from 20 years earlier that just showed up on my back like a stigmata and went away within 24 hours.
Wow, that's interesting.
Now
That's
I
really interesting. What
documented
about a
all
little
of it.
picture of Jesus? Yeah, any Jesus affirmations come up there on the skin?
No, but I found my new Jesus a couple of times.
Oh, that's funny.
Um,
Interesting.
so this is so
The world
last
is
week.
not flat, guys. The world is not flat.
Yeah.
You need to travel it and find out for yourself if you're that skeptical. Here's to say my
So
astrology's off because the world's flat. Okay, sorry, I had to comment on that one.
well, you know what the way I see it is that we're we're in a s- we're I believe that we're in a simulation. I mean, it checks out that way. I believe that we produce the world that we want to see.
I agree.
And the flat earthers are going to see flat earth. The round earthers are going to see it. The ones
I
who say
agree.
we're in a dome, we're going to be there. The ones who say we travel other planets, are going to be there.
I agree.
I believe that there's a potential for all those to be true, and this is why science. When we look at the human body, we always want to have this definite answer, but every time we get a definite answer, sometime in the future it changes.
Yeah,
So at what point do we stop saying I have a definite answer? It's like every time I think I know the body, I learn something completely new and it radically shifts. So I just stopped saying I know the body and I said anybody who says they know the body is just full of shit.
I think what you're really doing is because you're a Grandmaster Sagittarius, you're not discovering anything. You're changing reality. It's not discovery. It's what Gary is starting to believe, and he's really good at being a master belief maker. And we're all like, okay, I'll go that way with you,
Yeah.
and we all
And
manifest in your direction. And the person wants flat Earth. You're watching the wrong channel, man. You're on the wrong timeline. This isn't your timeline. Go to the flat Earth astrologer. You know what I mean? Like, don't don't argue with my world. You know what
well
I
we
mean?
have
Like,
a
stop arguing with each other's worlds. There's no right and wrong. It's what you want to create. It's what you want to live in.
we
There's no right or
have
wrong. It's only like it or not like it.
yeah, we have a quantum physics world. I mean, we
Yes.
agree, we have quantum computing, but we still subscribe to a Newtonian physics life. And that just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, either it's quantum or it's Newtonian. And if it's Newtonian, life kind of sucks. If
Yeah.
it's quantum, we have all these opportunities and all these
Totally.
experiences.
Yes.
And for those who said help because we found a new Jesus, that's an expression, not
Yeah. Yeah.
literally,
Yeah. Yeah.
not meant
Yeah.
literally.
Where
Okay.
27 net 9 is one of the most reactive argumentative step numbers there is.
Oh, so we're
You know,
yeah, we're here.
you married it. Oh my God, we have Anella's birthday.
Yes.
I just realized that. Serious Joy has Anella's birthday.
Oh my
I just
God.
realized that.
I just
That's
realized that
trippy.
too.
And Eben's at 27, Taurus. I'm an 18 net 9 Taurus, but my midheaven is 27 Aries. So I'm aiming to be a 27 Aries. And I said to the team, I think I've made it to 27 because I just had a baby with another 27. And it's a
Yeah.
27. Eben's a
Yeah,
27. I'm a net.
I'm a 24 sorry, 18 Aries in my Saturn, and I'm a 21 Aries in my rising too.
Your Saturn's on my Chiron. That's so crazy because my Chiron's my wound and you help me heal my wound. So you really are the authority of my wound. You really are an authority of my wound,
Yeah.
which is making lots of mistakes. That's my wound. And you're my sensei. Oh. Oh. So
Yeah.
funny.
The Lord says to lay
I know we
hands
got some Jesus.
to be
Guy,
healed, which is what you are using. Thank you. Yes, you know what? We laying hands, and let me just say from my point of view, what laying hands on is, laying hands is sometimes physical. Sometimes laying hands is being there holding space for somebody. It's being emotional. Sometimes it's touching, sometimes it's holding space, sometimes it's like pushing them off a cliff.
Mm,
You know,
yeah.
but it's giving people what they need, not what they want.
Correct, because really the architecture of life. So Chiron is step 11. Chiron is step 11. I don't know if you've really thought about this. Chiron is our greatest wound. Step 11 is
Yeah.
I become. we become our greatest wound. That is what we are. We are born as our greatest wound. And as you work out these greatest wounds, they become lighter and lighter and lighter over lifetimes. And I would imagine, Chiron in the future is going to be something like, my pet peeves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just going to sort of evolve out of like any kind of conflict. I had a phenomenal human design reading over the weekend. I want to put you in touch with this guy. He's genius. And he was
Love to hear it.
saying on February 28th, he was saying, so according to human design lore, and their lore is from their Garry Lineham, his name is Ruha, if you know him. But like according to that lore, on February 28th, 2025, next year, there are three. So what human design does is it shows you how you're wired. It's your soul circuitry. And what I found out over the weekend is the gate numbers are identical interpretation as the step numbers. The gates are
Yeah,
steps.
that makes
That
perfect sense
blew
to
my
me.
mind. I was like, oh my God. Because
Well,
he's like, this gate does this. And I'm like, you mean da 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 da? He's like, yeah, it's a good way to summarize it. I'm like, oh my God. It was a major. And so
yeah,
what's going to happen is
moment, because
we,
your step system is a decoder,
yeah.
so it has to, and it works. I use it to decode the body, so that means it can decode human design, it can decode numerology.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you know what? Like, here's one for you. Do you know my life path is 11?
Oh, God. I know. Mine's 7.
Yeah.
Together we're 7-Eleven.
Open
I love
24
it.
hours though.
Oh, you're sad. It's open 25 hours.
One more hour just in case.
You just stretch the whole fucking day an extra hour. So here's what I was saying about this. He says on February 28th, there are currently 6 circuits from the soul from the root chakra. So basically, you have 3 pipelines coming out of the root. And what's going to happen is those 3 will merge into a superhighway of just 1 to the root. So
I believe that. Yeah.
he says that our survival instinct, our connection to animals, will start to, what do you call it, wither away.
Yeah.
Because we're going to start to separate from Earth energetically, and we're literally going to have less root chakra energy available to us, which is very interesting because we're talking about whoever becomes president. As of February 28th, everyone loses the instinct to fight. Oh, what's that? Kiss your ass?
No, I lost my tailbone in 2019. Remember?
Oh, I always assume the
That's our
worst.
connection. That's our connection to our root.
Oh, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I,
Oh my
I
God,
that
that makes
I've
sense
been
now.
documenting. I believe I'm documenting evolution of species.
I believe you are. I believe you're pushing it.
Yeah, I do, and that's also why the teeth, because this is the front end of the GI tract, and that's the
Mm.
back end, and the tailbone is actually made of a separate material that it's not the same, and it's the same more. It's more like your teeth than it is your bones, because your bones keep growing together; they never stop growing. And
Well,
your
that's
teeth are
interesting.
your teeth are the same as your hair actually, but they have a hard enamel on them, which makes them look more bony, more bony because we eat with them, but that also subscribes to the theory that I have is that if anybody if you don't believe that we're going through an evolutionary shift, just go watch I Am Bunny on TikTok or Instagram,
Mm.
and the dog using all the paddles to
Oh,
talk. The dog is
yeah,
saying, "Well, why am I a dog?
yeah.
Why are you a
Really?
human?" Yeah, the dog is
Wow.
contemplating consciousness, but that's not the only one. They're coming up. I've been watching this for years. I've been saying to people that because even in spiritual texts, we say that the animals start talking. And right now we have ways we have the ways we already have technology that allows an animal to communicate through technology with a brainwave. It's already done. We This is the same thing. Elon Musk was working on that a long time ago. So if they can do it with the technology, they can do it naturally. That's the whole point.
Right.
Like with my teeth, there's a technology, an ultrasound technology, that grows your teeth in 30 days, and they just released a drug last month in the United States that regrows your teeth in 30 days.
Ooh, I
So
want some of that.
yeah,
I got
well,
some teeth
here's
that
the
need
point.
to be
The point
regrown.
is that if you can do it with a drug or
Yes,
a
your
technology, you can do it
consciousness
naturally.
can do it. Yes,
Yeah.
totally. I completely concur. And I believe we absolutely can 100%. Someone in the chat asked, what can the opposite happen that Garry and I are describing? The answer is yes. Some people will devolve. Some people will choose to decay and they will basically go extinct. Like Some people learn by destroying, some people learn by creating, and society's making choices right now which way they want to learn. I personally went down with Atlantis, so I've already done the destruction path. I'm going to go create some crystal cities.
So, and somebody asked, listen, I'll publish on my Instagram. I'll start publishing some stuff on regrowing your teeth. I'm ready to do that. I've been consulting. I've been documenting. So I have one of the world's best dentists, natural dentist, a holistic dentist who came and examined me because what she looked at was she goes, I've never seen this. Your teeth are decaying, but you have no infection.
Mm.
So there's no infection. Your gums are perfect, and your teeth are decaying. There's nothing we know of in current history that explains that. And it makes sense to me because if first of all, I'm gonna put on my story over the next couple of days. I'll put down the technologies that are patented and reviewed and approved by the FDA to regrow teeth because it's already there, guys.
Yeah.
Now, whether you want whether they want you to have it or not, now that the drug is available, it's super okay because there's a drug you can pay for it lots of money. But the frequency device is an ultrasound device.
Yeah, that's interesting. Really interesting stuff there. I mean, I from what I'm gathering, I'm gathering from the extra dimensionals that I'm connecting to, which are aliens channeling through Earth. First of all, don't go too far, Gary, because allegedly the Greys are us in the future, and they have no
Yeah,
teeth. They barely can open their mouth, so be careful.
yeah, yeah.
Don't go too
I
far in the
think I
genes.
think we got a ways to go there. I think
Don't
when
over
I
evolve. Yeah. You look good in pink. You look good pink. Um, yeah, I think we're fully taking charge. I mean, it's interesting you say if they let us have the technology. You said that.
yeah,
I've recently come to the conclusion in the last 3 or 4 days that nothing is going to happen that we don't want it to happen.
that's
Nothing. Like
true. That's true. And
we've
and
come
when I
to,
say
we've
that,
come.
when I say they, it's not there's not the good and the bad side. That's what I've been saying for years.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
I believe that
No,
this
it's
darkness is not bad. It's actually pushing humanity because if you don't
yeah,
create pain, humans don't change.
totally. And a lot of times, God sends down a good guy playing a bad guy. In fact, a lot of the bad guys you see are actually good guys playing bad guy roles.
Yeah,
It's a total
absolutely.
con job from God. It's a total con job. They know it. Like
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how many are in on the Matrix. The truth of the matter is we've always been one with our world. We've always been consciously connected to Mother Earth. We create the weather. We create the sky. You are a nodal point that keeps this reality on. I'm a nodal point. What I learned from this human design guy yesterday is I'm an emotional generator. Do you know what your human design is?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a generator.
What's your power center?
Spleen.
That makes I knew you were gonna say spleen. Mine's emotional. It's the solar plexus. And he
Yeah,
was saying that generators, he says generators, which is 70% of the population, are the ones actually keeping the matrix alive and on.
for sure. Yeah.
So it's like, think about it as just imagine the matrix and it's Neo and all of them running around that are running the matrix. The programs are running the matrix. You're a program running a matrix. The generators are actually running the matrix. And he says, and apparently I'm a big generator. Duh. Like, I generate a lot of wattage. People come and warm their hands around me. You know what I mean? Like, but it was fascinating just to have this conversation about how reality is formed. And I think the truth of the matter is this: in Atlantis, we knew that we were generating reality. Then society fell, we went tribal, and we forgot the knowledge.
Yeah.
The knowledge went into secret societies and didn't share with any of
Yeah.
us. They all stole all the resources and then created the media to basically trick us into manifesting the reality they wanted.
Yeah,
That's
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And from my background, I used to protect secrets for all these people. So
I
I
know.
have a I have a really good first knowledge understanding of what goes on. Most people have never ever seen the other side. I've seen it, been it, worked on it. I've treated them as patients.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of
Yeah.
exposure, and what I've come to conclude is that nobody's there to hurt us. As a human, you're gonna get hurt. As a soul, it's part of what we signed up for. And we signed up to have this experience because I think about it this way, and we talked about this. What other time on the planet's history would you want to be here? I want to be here right now. This is super exciting.
Oh my God, I'm excited. Well, and it's because the Ascension is such a bitch. I mean, God, throwing up, shitting all the time, like crying, just like fuck. It's like we're coming off the world's worst drug. We're in
Yeah,
crazy, our bodies are in crazy detox. I mean, when COVID happened and I knew a huge percentage of the population was going to pass, I was like, oh, that's clever. All those people getting out scot free,
yeah,
like not having to go through the Ascension. So I don't even think, I do think there are some really dark lizards who have a really hellish reincarnation path coming up,
yeah,
because they chose to play the dark and they haven't counterbalanced the light ever. So if you don't counterbalance the light, oh, you're up for a Humpty Dumpty great fall at
yeah,
some point. Bill
yeah,
Gates has got a shitty life coming up next lifetime. You know what I mean? Like, like some of these guys have, they're not getting out of it. And from what I'm hearing with karma, so once this shift happens on February 28th and we cut the strings to our root chakra and start to float, okay, what that basically means is you're not going to be motivated by anger. You're not going to be
yeah,
motivated by sex. You're not going to be motivated by competition. You're
yeah.
not going to, we are going to lose this orangutan drive that makes us throw shit at each other. You're going to literally, I was like, I always wondered, how's God going to ascend the planet? He's just going to cut off your genitals. You're basically getting snipped, energetically snipped. We're all getting energetically neutered February 28th.
Well, and so for those of you who are close to me, you've been watching me go through that journey. I mean, that's literally the life I'm living right now. But it wasn't. It's not a switch. It's like a fade, and
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's been fading and fading and fading
Yeah.
and fading.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a cross dissolve in TV. It's a
yeah,
cross dissolve. You're seeing both realities, and that's the whole point of life. I mean, in heaven it'd be instantaneous. The reason why we have days and minutes and everything else is because we want to watch this frame by frame. We wanted to see this change frame by frame. We want to see our God energy, split it apart, fractal the rainbow. We're white light. We fractal the rainbow into the spectrum of the colors so that we can actually understand white in all of its hues,
right. Yeah.
which is truth in consciousness as well.
So last week when we were talking, um, yeah, I mean, you're always right up, and
Thank you, brother.
Wednesday was definitely, yeah, definitely hump day.
Man, oh, last week sucked.
Yeah,
Last week was one of the worst weeks I've ever lived in my life.
and Thursday was definitely decision. We had our event in Prague on Saturday. It was transformative, but it was like every little problem that you could think of was working its way up into that event. I mean, it was bizarre how many things, and we just kept moving forward, kept moving forward, kept moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I had some hellish karma come up. Like past life relationships came crashing, and 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 we were honest, like
Yeah,
stuff we'd never said. I found that what I found last week was I lost my voice because I was not sharing my truth with people because I was worried about upsetting the people.
yeah. I mean,
So
that's
I was
that's your
carrying the
Taurus.
burden.
That's
That's
your
what,
Taurus.
Taurus? Yeah, yeah,
That's
for
your
sure.
Taurus.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
fucking use us as farm animals. We carry a bunch of heavy shit all the time for you people. Make us into hamburgers, respect us. Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was intense, but I realized it was making me sick. I realized, I mean, I went 5 days without eating. My digestive tract just completely stopped. And I realized it was when I was actually interacting with this past life person. And I was like, oh shit, the evidence lined up. It's like, oh, that's what I'm so, what's coming up. And it was just a grief from a past life that I was always aware of, but I didn't realize I was harboring so much grief and sadness from it. So then after you pull the plug out of that, you're vomiting, crying, you're just all these feelings you have no explanation for. Feels like my chest had a bullet in it. You ever have that? My solar plexus feels like I've been shot,
yeah,
the sternum.
yeah,
The pain
yeah,
is
yeah.
so painful.
So Chris,
Whew.
when I came back to Canada, I had the 5 days of vomiting, puking, shaking, shitting, like 5 days straight, no food, no water. And then I had this Capricorn in 2021. I couldn't. I was in intense pain and right in my solar plexus, and I knew it wasn't physical,
Yeah.
but it was so much pain. I didn't sleep for a month.
Oh yeah. Sleep has been shitty. I'm tired as hell. In other ways, though, I am so with Jupiter and Gemini, I've become so articulate. Like my brain has rewired and recircuited. Like I'm as sharp as I was at 34 when I first awakened. And I realized
Right,
I think it was the emotions I was harboring was clouding my thinking. And so
right,
it's like once I cleaned the windshield, got those dead bugs off there, suddenly I could see the road. And
right.
that's how I've been feeling the last 3 weeks. It's like, wow, suddenly I can see the road. It's so high definition. Like everything is just high definition for me now. So I am experiencing ascension. I am experiencing ascension. I'm just reporting to the world where colors are brighter. I mean, it's the stuff that you do when you do fascial maneuvers.
Well,
Maneuvers.
that's, I
By
mean,
the way,
so that's what fascial maneuvers are doing. Is there, because what is ascension? It's the removal of trauma. What is trauma? Trauma is heaviness.
yeah,
So trauma feels heavy. My body feels heavy. It feels dark. I see darkness when we do the maneuvers and when we do partner maneuvers. Everybody goes, I feel so light. I feel so bright.
yes,
Everything's colorful. Everything's
yeah.
4D. So basically, what I believe we're doing is graduating people into
I
ascension.
agree. Us in energy alignment, and you know, basically what I've come up with, what I realized I've downloaded is basically an operating system, an approach for how to manage your soul.
Yeah.
Like the step
Yeah.
system is a way to manage your soul. It's like it's a formula for how to understand you to and diagnose you. The human design chart actually tells you the path to ascension.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
tells you
I agree. I
it
agree.
tells
I
you
mean,
every
I've been
step you have
following.
to do. And here's what's interesting. Pluto is the last step
Yes,
to
I agree with
ascension,
that too.
which is
I
going
agree with
back
that
to
too.
zero. So we end at zero. I mean, that was just like my head was
Well, I mean,
exploding. I was just like,
it explains why even in our process, getting younger, feeling younger, rewinding relationships. I've been having this for a couple of years. I've been observing that I'm just going backwards in everything, in my relationships, my thoughts. When I crossed over with on Sunday with Petra, all of a sudden all Sunday evening and all Monday as we're traveling to Dublin, I'm processing all the thoughts from that time because she was there when the government arrested me. So there
oh my
was very
God.
some
Do you guys
very
relive that?
traumatic,
Did
right?
you relive that? I'm
Well,
noticing that there's,
I mean, I observed it. I didn't relive it. I observed it.
okay. I mean, and relive doesn't mean the full thing. It's just the feelings come back. It feels like you're there again. That's what I mean. I should have said, did you reanimate that?
No,
Because I
no.
think sometimes
I definitely observed it.
okay.
It was like it was like watching myself watching drama.
Mm,
That's the
mm.
best way to describe it. But it was because I've been observing this as as I've been moving forward or backwards, however you want to call it. I've been in observation of this, but this was the most dramatic. Like everyone was these little references, little thoughts that would change. This one was like it went like from here, it went poof. It happened fast. It was
It
like
was
before
ready.
it
There
would
was
take like a
nothing to
month or
release.
two to have stuff come through. This one
Yeah.
was like all within 24 hours.
Well, I'm releasing that fast too. But like in this particular case, we both relived when I died. Like
Yeah.
I relived it like a movie. I relived the loss. I relived the shame of abandoning this person when I died. I relived the pain of being in heaven. And what did I do? Like, basically, what I'm noticing is if you die suddenly, you don't get a chance to process your death.
Yeah.
So you have to reenact a near death so that you can reanimate and process the unprocessed death. So anyone shot in the head, anything instant like that, you have to all come back and I know a couple of stories where one person, I know a story where the person shot a person and then shot himself. Okay, so it was a
Yeah.
double. When he incarnated back, he incarnated with severe brain injuries. His whole
Yeah.
life, severe brain injury, basically handicapped. His whole life is as if he had survived this gunshot. So it's like you have to, you know, play out the story. One rule of God is you dip one toe in, you got to do the whole course. There's no
Yeah.
half in, half out, come and go. And you're trapped here. You can't go to Sirius. You can't incarnate on these other places. No, no, no. You signed up for Earth. You got to do the whole obstacle course. So anyone watching, there's no mercy. You will have to do it.
So I've had at least that I can document 5 NDEs.
Holy camole. Step 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
and and there. Yeah, I'm not saying that there wasn't more, but there's 4 that were unintentional. I mean, I didn't purposely did it, and 1 I purposely did it. And when I got into there, because I don't know if you remember around those times, I was having seizures and I was falling and smashing my head.
Yeah.
And
Yes. Oh my God.
and I didn't know what was going on. I just thought, a couple of times I racked it up to maybe I had too much to drink, and I had like 2 drinks and there was nothing wrong. I just woke up in a pool of blood. So so when I
Oof.
actually purposely created a near death experience, then I was there with consciousness. I'm like, oh, I've been here before recently, and here's what I learned the last times, and
Wow.
here's what I'm going to do with it this time. So there was like a conscious involvement in that NDE the last time, and then that's when I got up. That last time was 2019. And that's when you and I were working, and you were talking me through that whole process of my life when I said, I'm giving up the clinic. I'm going to let all relationships fail or fall. I'm going to stop trying to fix anything in my life. And I'm just going to see where everything lands. And all the cards started tumbling. All the house of cards came tumbling down. You were there the whole time talking me through that.
Yes. And that's what happened to me when I
Yeah.
fell. The entire house of cards. Because what those house of cards is here's what I believe. I believe we're born with the memory of the trauma. We're born to become our trauma. Okay. Um, and we know we have the memory of the bad thing that happened, and so you're subconsciously spinning this web to avoid that from happening, but you don't know what you're actually trying to avoid. So
Right.
you're basically kind of haunted by your own ghosts. And so people build these elaborate house of cards that are all stacked to avoid the trauma. And so
Yeah.
once you recognize the trauma, this whole game you've been doing just collapses.
Yeah.
And you didn't even realize it was a game because you were motivated by root chakra, fight or flight survival. Your root chakra had taken over you with hormones,
Yeah.
and and you're off to the races, and you don't even know what you're racing.
Yeah, I mean this is the story of fascial maneuvers and my journey through it was me removing myself from my root chakra, and the formula that we have to move past that, it starts at that 28 days, and after that 28 days of relieving stress every day, you reset your stress index. It drops really quickly, and then all of a sudden you have more capacity to observe, and when you start observing, then all of a sudden all the traumas start to process. The reason why we don't process trauma is because we're human doings, not human beings.
Mm-hmm.
If we're being it, then we observe ourselves and we process trauma. If we are doing it, we can't see ourselves when we're doing it, so that means the trauma stays trapped. And this is where our lives are built around doing. Work, job, system, take care of stuff, money, achieve, get a house. All these things are human doings,
Yeah.
but we can't self-actualize in the doing state, and trauma requires self-actualization to remove from the body.
Mm-hmm. It sure does. That's interesting. And the two are connected. Yeah, I realized now the planet's looking good. I think I'll probably be moving on to a new star system.
Yeah. So let's talk about, okay, I'm super curious.
You
So I got this week coming
no.
up. Yeah.
No,
We
you're
got this
not.
week coming up. Okay, so this week coming up, and I got a couple things. Um um I'm still not 100% confirmed, but I think I'm doing the Gabor Mate event on the 20th, and then the 22nd our event. So what does this week look like? Because I got a feeling that this is a baseball hitting out of the park somewhere.
Today is the hit. So like we're basically what we're doing right now is today we're on step 27, 28 tomorrow we manifest, 29 work out the kinks. But the thing about 29 is on Wednesday, hump day, step 29, hump day on 29. Like it's so funny how humans always manifest perfectly according to their lore, right? Like yeah, you're like there we go, yeah, awesome, 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 awesome.
That's my day.
Thanks,
29,
Apple.
that's my day.
But on that day, the sun squares Neptune. Okay, and it happens actually. It actually happens on Thursday. Well, it happens at 12 p.m. the next day, but it's still step 29. Neptune is at 29 Pisces. Okay,
Oh
so the sun
my God,
squares Neptune at 29
my
Pisces.
oh,
So,
I have a prediction.
so
My
something is interesting.
father,
Something I never told
my
you. So,
father's moon is 29 Pisces.
oh, Sirius Joy's solar eclipse is 29 Pisces too. So we came out with our best version of our site when Neptune conjoined our solar eclipse and activated our past life solar eclipse of 29. I mean, I'm watching all the stars. It's fascinating. It's just so
Yeah.
fascinating.
Okay. Yeah. So
So what happens is, okay, so you have a square. So a square in consciousness is an intersection and creates an intersection in the fractal universe, right? So it's our conscious thoughts are creating what we call sacred geometry, right? So Pisces is the line from spirit to embodiment. That's Pisces, from spirit to embodiment. That's a whole thing. And from spirit to embodiment, squares from belief to thought. Okay.
whoa, whoa.
And that's how conscious is built. Belief and thought, and spirit incarnates it, creates a vertice, creates a square, creates a corner, a fractal of this polygram reality. So when the sun squares Neptune at 29, that means the fabric of reality, okay?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
You know what? It feels like it because it feels like everything that we went through on this last week and weekend and my personal stuff. It feels like fabric of reality was shifting. Like it really feels like that.
I mean, I'm seeing things blinking it out. And what's really fascinating is like I'm suddenly like really feeling connected to some people, feeling disconnected to others. Like I'm being led off stage like Joe Biden. Come on, Mr. President. This timeline's over. What am I? You know what I mean? It's been crazy. So then, now today, here's what's interesting. Today, Mercury and Venus are both in Cancer at 0 degree. Mercury and
So
Venus
our
at
thoughts and
0 degree
our
Cancer.
relationships are
The
caregiving.
way
Well, caregiving.
we relate to how we feel with ourselves, the way we think about how we feel about ourselves, has been zeroed out, right? So on the day we launch the new paradigm, we also start a new conscious circle of how we feel about ourselves. And so how you think and feel is your solar plexus. Solar plexus is the generators of the planet. So that means that all the generators on the planet are upgrading their solar plexus in Gemini and Cancer, which means we're about to generate losing our tailbone. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. So I am warning all my subscribers. Thursday to step 2, if you haven't had a good cry and diarrhea and thrown up in the same 24 hours,
Thursday
you need to be
might be the
careful Thursday and Friday. Yeah, Thursday and Friday, God is literally popping the pimple. It's like, all right, sorry, we tried to warn you. We sent you Gary and Chris. Sorry. Sorry. We did the best we could. They're very, very congenial, those two guys. If you didn't listen, you thought theirs was flat. Sorry. Yeah, so it goes. So anyway, so I think that now if that's not enough, Gary, what really creates the plunge is a full moon in Capricorn on Friday at 7:07 p.m. Eastern time. Full moon in Capricorn on the 21st. By the way,
707, man.
there are two full moons in Capricorn this month. There's one full moon in Capricorn at step 1, release all of my emotional baggage around self-love. Then there's a full moon at 29 Capricorn, which by the way sextiles into Neptune still at 29. And that full moon at 29 says, and release all of your emotional drama about society.
So
Like, so we're
so
being
Chris, my
basically,
midheaven is my midheaven 7 Capricorn.
yeah, this will conjunct your midheaven by a 6 degree orb.
And and that means on Friday with the full moon. And then I've been feeling this. There's something about this Dublin event that happens
Oh,
on
I feel it
Saturday.
from here. I can feel it from here.
Yeah,
I can feel it from here. And, and interestingly enough, I was kind of feeling like God has assigned me somewhere else on that particular thing. And I hope
I
you guys
got
don't
you.
take it personally.
No, not at all.
I'm just
No.
following the signs and the contracts that I've signed. But I will tell you, I've already set aside. I mean, I'll be in Canada for both your events, most likely.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I want to come see where you guys live and all that stuff. So, be my
Yeah.
first time in Canada. Yeah.
So I know I feel it though, and Chris, and from the bottom of my heart, I've got you always. So
Okay. Good. I
I
don't want
move
you
the
to ever
same
think I
way.
don't want. Yeah.
We know we can't. I mean, we move around. Like we will
Yeah.
cancel stuff on the drop of a hat because it's not right.
Correct.
I mean, it drives people that want to do process busy. Or sorry, crazy, but it it's going with the flow, and this is how business is going to be done in the age of Aquarius. People will go with the flow, and they will learn that. But it took us 4 years of practicing to do this to be okay with it, because we would get upset when we would change because we had a plan.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I mean, thank God for you as a friend and my friends who do understand. And I'm getting over my issue of worrying about how other people feel instead of worrying about how I feel,
Yeah.
you know. Someone asked what happened to our site. SeriesJoy.com is now free to the public in many ways, including the current step number, the next 4 days of weather. Like we now have a free open site at SeriesJoy.com. You cannot go to it in Safari. We do not support Macintosh Safari anymore. We're done with Mac, with Apple's browser. We're getting divorced.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
Apple, you
Okay.
just suck. You cost
That's
way
what it
too much in
was.
development.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where I was accessing it. So I'll access it in Fox or in
Yeah,
in
Firefox or
Google.
Safari, and we're just tired. We can't keep up. My
Yeah,
brother, but anyways, that's a sidetrack. So don't go.
yeah.
We do have a forward that says this browser is not supported, so it'll tell you this browser is not supported.
Well, that's
And
what it
funny is
was
Evan writes this.
on my phone this big. That form was up there and there, and I'm like,
It's Evan. He doesn't put pictures. He wants text, but he wrote like this web browser is not supported because Apple doesn't want to be current with technology. Such a angry grandpa in the garage.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's so much fun as a friend.
so Saturday Saturday is going to
Saturday's the
be
Grandmaster
uh,
Step 2 Cancer. So
yeah,
most people will have, well, I imagine anyone going to your event will either popped before or they're coming to pop.
yeah,
Like it's going
yeah. I can see
to
that.
pop in
I
Dublin.
can.
Bring your Kleenex. Um, and you're talking about a region that I don't know. Europeans feel a little disconnected from Step 2 to me. Like
Yeah, fair
a little more
statement.
out of touch.
Yeah,
Different
especially
cultures
when
are,
Dublin would be Ireland would be the most disconnected out of all the Europeans from
oh
step
yeah,
two, I would say.
yeah, they've channeled it all into anger.
Yeah.
They've channeled it all into
So
anger.
so
Yeah.
this is going to be a transfer. You can feel it. We have all the health influencers in Ireland, all the people, they're coming for this transformative event. You can feel it.
And dude, you should just take a step in a bow. Like you are literally healing the earth right now because you're having events with the top healers of the region, and then they're going to their locals. I mean, Human Garage should be really proud. You're doing the real work. And our government's not doing it, and our hospitals aren't doing it, and our counselors and the people we pay aren't doing it. So bravo to you guys. I'm
Yeah,
not angry.
it feels good. It
That made
feels good
that made anger. It's
to be
okay.
in the
Sorry.
right place at the right time. It really does feel good.
I think you're
So what
being led.
happens on Sunday then, the day after?
Step 3, I believe. So I think everyone integrates into beliefs. The moon moves into Aquarius at around 9:14 that night. So out of Capricorn. So basically, you're just processing that full moon through Capricorn basically the whole weekend.
And
So
you know
the
what's funny is that I'm seeing a famous player on Sunday, which is a Grandmaster 7 degree Pisces, and his wife is 12 degree Leo, which is my mom,
huh,
and his daughter is 12 degree Aries, which is my sister who raised me.
mm.
And I'm seeing them on Sunday. I mean, it just and the son is the exact astrology as my father. Come on.
Well, step 7 Pisces, it was my father. I'll let you know, Grandmaster Pisces can go dark or light.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
swings both ways. I mean, that's the two fish. You know, the fish is always facing the shadow. You know,
Yeah.
Pisces is basically a lifetime where you're just like you've been putting off and putting off and putting off Cynthia for a long time. And so it took marrying a guy like Gary or being with him, you know what I mean? Like to be in your face every day and help you do those spiritual push-ups. But no, I think all Pisces, when you're a Pisces, you've decided to clean out, take out the garbage. You've decided you've been letting karma accumulate for many, many lifetimes. There's a lot of things you had put off. And so there's a lot of, there's just a lot of clearing. But I actually think Pisces will, by the time Saturn crosses your sun, which it already has, but you have something else in Pisces higher up, like Mercury or something, don't you,
Yes, I
Cynthia?
do, and I also have, yes, I do, and I also have, my Chiron is in Pisces.
But it conjuncts your sun. So I think it's the only thing that has to change now is your thinking, and
Yes.
then you're done.
I'm done. I'm golden.
I think her Mercury, if I'm not correct, if I'm correct, is in Gemini, and then she has a 5-degree Gemini rising too.
Oh, her Mercury's in Gemini. Okay.
Yeah, so
No, it wouldn't
she
be that
remember
far. Oh,
she's
could
here.
it be
Remember
that far?
she's here
Yeah.
on her Chiron line
Maybe.
in Ireland.
Oh, how you feeling? Are you feeling triggered? Have you had any past life things come up?
Well, we just got
We
here.
just got here, but the
Sure,
last
your
2
mouth is like,
days,
Hey, she's Irish. She's always wanted to be in Ireland, so she's walking around like a
I'm in heaven.
she's walking around like a little leprechaun.
Yeah.
You're going, ah,
okay.
look
So,
at all this. So,
I'm
so
so
let me
excited.
just walk you through this for everyone. When you return to an event, a place where you have karma, you relive in a micro version your history in that land. So right now you're in the ancient lifetimes of Ireland. So I would expect some heavy shit to come up at some point, whatever that Chiron
you
mood
know,
is.
Heavy.
and we're at Loft Crew, a castle or estates. It's like medieval. It's got the a center column. There's fire burning in the center. We've got all these. I mean, it looks like I'll walk you through here. It looks like we are in 1700, 1800.
It feels like
That's
you know,
crazy. It's all for Cynthia. Look at how the human garage completely tilted, and took you. I mean, look at how heaven works. This is how heaven works. Heaven's like, okay, bring Cynthia. She's got to clean that shit out. Everyone in Ireland's pissed off. We got to clean that up. Like, so it's like it's all this massive, kind of orchestration. And yes, you're staying in this place, which is the ancient part, the good times that you remember
Yeah.
back when Ireland was glorious and not under the control of the damn right? Like, so yeah, it'll be interesting. But I imagine you will have some sort of just be very open. Just if you go into any sort of emotion, just realize, oh, this is what I felt like then. Oh, this is what I felt like then. Oh, it's just but you get caught up and you at first it's so convincing, the reanimation of the past life that you're confused that you're in another lifetime for a second. You don't realize your life has been hijacked in this emotional drama that was a past life. And what I realized in California when I went back was, oh, trauma is locationalized. So when I landed in LA, then the LA trauma came up. Like about after 2 days of getting comfortable. And then all this trauma came up, couldn't eat for 5 days, all this other stuff. And I realized, oh shit. And I've been told this by other people that the way Gaia works is the memory in the hard drive is actually stored at the location of the event. So that's why you astral travel and you return to the scene of the crime. Because the scene of the crime holds the emotional memory of the event, which is what a ghost is. A ghost is basically you were so fractioned by the event, you separated yourself, a piece of your soul fell off because you were so freaked out, and you left that piece over there in that space time continuum. And there are light workers who help you go back and grab those pieces through psychic means. But that's what you're encountering. You're actually reuniting with the fraction part of your consciousness.
I had
That's what I
that
believe.
experience in Costa Rica. I had that experience in Costa Rica. That fraction feeling.
Yeah, and that it's interesting the integration, how just witnessing it and how it's going.
Well,
And a lot of my clients,
Go ahead.
yeah, I definitely want a journal and and a report first thing at my desk in the morning.
I'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
So yeah, this is going to be, and I felt this coming up because the way we came here is Jamie. He's from Ireland. He's a promoter. He came to our Austin event. He just said, you know, we were talking about going to London. He says, I want to bring you back to Ireland, and he just said, I have all these people. I have these different areas. I have this. Like, let's do this. And it was. He says, I'll put it all together. So he put the whole event together for us, which makes it a lot easier to say yes to.
Oh
And
yeah.
and and here it is. It's like you can see now that the karma is coming through these people and this place. And somebody put down in here, this place is 1700. Yeah, you're right. It's been here for a long time. Like there's some ancient Roman um things outside. It's not even Irish. It's like there's parts of walls that you can tell they're not English or Irish. They're Roman.
Hmm. Yes. That's actually it. I mean, that's what I was doing in England last time I was there, finding those effing Romans. I mean, I know my whole story, you know, like, and the Anglos. I mean, you were actually in Anglo land. It's
Yeah.
Anglo land. That's what England comes from. Anglos, from all the
Yeah.
Anglo-Saxons coming across. We were fighting those bastards all the time too. It was a mess.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
just openly, you
gonna
know what? You
be.
know what changed? What's changed now, Gary, is I'm just having these conversations openly with people now about past lives and stuff. I'm come out of the closet. I'm just like the flat Earth guy. I'm like, nah, you're on the wrong channel. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna curtsy anymore. You know what I mean? But I think
Yeah.
that's part of Jupiter and Gemini. Like I've taken my mind back. I've taken my power back from the programming I was once caught up in. I've noticed that in the last 10 days. I didn't even notice I'd given it away. It was such a
Yeah.
posture in my birth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super excited. This is gonna be a crazy weekend for you guys in Dublin.
It is.
And I think it's amazing that you're doing like
We're doubling down on Dublin.
that's good. Quack quack quack. Yeah. Well, say hi to the leprechauns and
So,
fairies for
Chris,
me.
final words for somebody this week. If they were to use a phrase, a term, or something to hold on to rocket them through this week, what would you say to them?
I release the feelings that do not serve my joy.
Okay.
I release the feelings that do not serve my
Release
joy.
the feelings that do not
Do
serve
not
my
serve
joy.
my joy. I mean, that's basically actually even more. Let's sharpen that. I decide to release the feelings that do not serve my joy. I decide because
So
of the
let's
moon in
everybody do
Capricorn.
that together. Let's everybody do that together.
Okay,
Count of three.
yeah,
1, 2,
two,
3.
three.
I
I decide
decide to release the
to release
feelings
the feelings
that
that
do
do not serve
not serve my
my
joy.
joy. Yes, and so it is. I felt
Yeah.
so. We'll tell you
Yes.
that one time in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right,
Love you,
my
brother.
master friend, love you too. Keep up the good work over there. We're both working the earth on different sides of the earth now. It's getting exciting.
Okay. Sorry. Take
Bye,
care.
guys. Love you.
Bye.